20 forgotten home features that are no longer in use. Ever spotted a strange little door or an old switch and wondered what it was for? Homes once had clever features that made life easier before modern technology took over. Let's uncover these forgotten innovations and see how they shaped daily life. Wall plates. If you've ever spotted those strange metal plates on the outside of an old house, you might have thought they were just decorative. But these iron fixtures actually served an important structural purpose. Known as wall plates, they were typically made from cast or wrought iron and were far more than just ornamental details. These plates were part of a reinforcement system designed to keep a building's walls stable. They were connected to long iron rods that ran through the walls, acting like internal anchors to prevent the structure from bowing outward or even collapsing over time. This was especially critical for brick and stone buildings, which lacked the flexibility of modern materials and were prone to shifting under pressure. Before the development of advanced construction techniques and reinforced materials, builders relied on these iron supports to maintain a home's integrity. But with modern engineering, including steel framing and concrete reinforcement, wall plates have become obsolete. Coal chute door. If you've ever walked past an older home and noticed a small iron door near the foundation, you might have wondered what it was for. It's not just a random piece of metal, it's a coal chute door, a once essential feature in homes that relied on coal for heat. Before modern heating systems, homeowners needed a steady supply of coal to keep their furnaces running, especially during the winter. Coal delivery men would go door to door, shoveling coal through these small doors, where it would slide down a chute into the basement. From there, the homeowner would shovel the coal into the furnace as needed, ensuring the house stayed warm. This system was common in cities and colder climates, where coal was the primary heating source for decades. However, as natural gas and electric heating became more efficient and widely available, coal furnaces, and the delivery systems that supported them, became obsolete. Today, many of these iron doors remain as relics of a bygone era. Some homeowners have sealed them off, while others leave them in place as a nod to their home's history. Built-in phone nooks. Before smartphones and wireless communication, landline telephones were a household necessity. But early home phones weren't the compact, cordless devices we think of today. Instead, they were bulky, often with separate earpieces and rotary dials, requiring a designated space in the home. That's why many older houses featured built-in phone nooks, small recessed shelves or alcoves designed specifically to hold the family telephone. These nooks were usually located in a hallway or near the living room, making the phone easily accessible to everyone in the house. They often included a small shelf for storing phone books, notepads, and pens. Because making a call usually meant writing down numbers or taking notes during the conversation. In some homes, the nook even had a little bench underneath, creating a dedicated space for making calls. Today, these phone nooks have lost their original purpose, but they haven't completely disappeared. Many homeowners repurpose them as decorative display areas, using them to hold antique phones, mail, plants, or small knickknacks. Landline phone jack. If you live in an older home, you've probably noticed these small square outlets scattered throughout the house. You might find them in the kitchen, living room, bedrooms, and even hallways. These are landline phone jacks, once an essential feature in every home but now mostly obsolete thanks to the rise of cell phones. Before mobile technology took over, having a landline was the only reliable way to make calls. Many homes had multiple phone jacks so that phones could be placed in convenient locations, allowing family members to answer calls no matter where they were. Some homes even had multiple lines, especially if someone worked from home or if teenagers wanted their own private number. Today, with nearly everyone carrying a smartphone, landline phone jacks have become relics of the past. While some homeowners still keep a landline for emergencies, most of these jacks now sit unused, often covered by furniture or repurposed for other wiring needs. Ice door. Have you ever come across a strange little door at the back of an old house? Maybe it led into a pantry or a small room, and you noticed that there was another door inside that locked from within. If so, you may have stumbled upon a forgotten relic of the past, an ice door. Before modern refrigerators, people kept their food fresh using ice boxes, essentially insulated cabinets that relied on large blocks of ice to keep things cool. Since homeowners needed a steady supply of ice, delivery men would bring fresh blocks to the house regularly. Instead of hauling them through the front door and making a mess inside, many homes had a special ice door at the back or side of the house. This allowed the delivery man to place the ice directly into the icebox compartment without ever stepping inside the home. If you've ever heard an older family member call a refrigerator an icebox, now you know why. That term is a remnant of the time when keeping food cold depended on regular ice deliveries. While ice doors are rarely seen in modern homes, they serve as a fascinating reminder of how people kept things fresh before the age of electricity. Have you ever lived in or visited a home with one of these forgotten designs? Share your story. The laundry chute. If you live in an older multi-story home, you might have been lucky enough to have a laundry chute, a simple yet brilliant feature that made laundry day so much easier. Instead of carrying piles of dirty clothes down the stairs, all you had to do was toss them into the chute, and gravity did the rest, delivering them straight to the laundry room below. Laundry chutes were especially common in homes built in the early to mid-20th century, when multi-level houses were more prevalent and household efficiency was a priority. They typically had a small hinged door located in a hallway or bathroom, leading to a smooth enclosed shaft that funneled clothes directly to the basement or laundry area. Surprisingly, despite their convenience, laundry chutes have mostly disappeared from modern home designs. Some say safety concerns, such as small children climbing inside, led to their decline, while others point to changing home layouts, with laundry rooms now often located on the same floor as bedrooms. But not everyone has given up on this clever idea. Many homeowners are now adding laundry chutes back into their homes as a custom feature, proving that sometimes old-school ingenuity still beats modern trends. Maybe it's time for a comeback. Pittsburgh potty. If you've ever been inside a home built before World War II, you might have stumbled across a strange sight, a lone toilet sitting out in the open in the basement, with no walls or privacy whatsoever. These fixtures, often lacking even a sink or shower nearby, are known as Pittsburgh potties, though they weren't exclusive to Pittsburgh. They could be found in many industrial cities across the U.S. The reason for these unusual basement toilets dates back to the days of steelworkers, miners, and other laborers who came home covered in dirt, soot, and grime after a long shift. Instead of tracking that mess into the main living space, they would enter through the basement and use the toilet and, if available, a utility sink or even a makeshift shower to clean up before heading upstairs. This practical design helped keep the home's main bathrooms and living areas cleaner. Today, most Pittsburgh potties have either been removed or enclosed to provide some privacy, but occasionally you'll still find one standing alone in an older home's basement, unused, yet a quirky reminder of a time when functionality often trumped modern comforts. If you happen to see one, consider it a glimpse into the past, when hard-working homeowners prioritized practicality over modesty. Knob and tube wiring. If you've ever taken a peek inside the walls or ceilings of an older home, especially one built between 1880 and 1930, you might have come across a wiring system that looks outdated, if not outright dangerous. This method, known as knob and tube wiring, was one of the earliest electrical systems used in residential construction. The setup was fairly simple. Single insulated copper wires ran through the hollow spaces in walls and ceilings. Where the wires needed to pass through wooden framing, small porcelain tubes acted as insulation to prevent contact with the wood. Porcelain knobs were nailed down to hold the wires in place and keep them from sagging or touching surfaces they shouldn't. At the time, this was considered a safe and effective way to run electricity through a home. Fast forward to today, and knob and tube wiring is widely viewed as a fire hazard. While it was sufficient for the limited electrical demands of the early 20th century, modern homes require much more power. The old wiring lacks grounding, and over time the insulation can become brittle or damaged. Though some older homes still have it in place, most electricians recommend replacing it with a safer, up-to-date system. It's a fascinating piece of history, but definitely not something you want powering your home today. Ceiling beds. Have you ever seen a bed descend from the ceiling? While this clever design is making a small comeback in modern tiny apartments, it was once a serious competitor to the more famous Murphy bed. These ceiling-mounted sleeping solutions, sometimes called swirling beds, were designed to maximize living space without taking up valuable wall or closet areas. Patented in 1913, these innovative beds operated using a counterweight system hidden within the walls. A simple hand crank would lower the bed from the ceiling, allowing it to float down smoothly into position. To ensure stability, foldable legs could be extended, giving it a proper foundation for sleeping. When morning came, the bed could be effortlessly raised back into the ceiling, freeing up the entire room for daytime use. Though they never gained the same widespread popularity as Murphy beds, ceiling beds were an ingenious solution for small living spaces. Today, with the rise of compact apartments and creative interior design, a few companies are revisiting this old idea with modern technology. While the original ceiling beds may be a thing of the past, their spirit lives on in the pursuit of efficient, space-saving furniture. Push-button light switches. Push-button light switches might seem like a charming throwback or even a touch of vintage luxury, but they weren't without their issues. First introduced in the late 1800s and commonly used through the early 1900s, these switches functioned with a simple push mechanism. One button turned the light on, and the other turned it off. At the time, they were considered an upgrade from early rotary switches, offering a more modern and sophisticated look. However, they had a frustrating flaw. The buttons were prone to getting stuck. Over time, the internal mechanisms could wear out, leaving the light permanently on or off. This wasn't just an inconvenience. It also posed a potential fire hazard if the wiring overheated due to a faulty connection. Despite these drawbacks, push-button switches are still sought after today by those restoring historic homes or wanting a touch of old-world charm. Modern versions have been redesigned with improved materials and durability, blending vintage aesthetics with today's electrical safety standards. So, while the originals may have faded into history, their nostalgic appeal hasn't completely disappeared. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Boot scrapers. If you've ever noticed a small cast iron fixture near the front door of an old home and wondered what it was, you've likely spotted a boot scraper. These once common household features were essential in an era before paved roads, when dirt streets and horse-drawn transportation made walking a messy affair. Before stepping inside, people would use the scraper to clean mud, dirt, and even horse droppings off their shoes, preventing the mess from being tracked indoors. Typically installed near the front steps or embedded into the sidewalk, these sturdy iron scrapers were a simple but effective way to keep homes clean in an age when carpets and rugs were difficult to wash. As cities modernized, paved roads replaced muddy streets, and automobiles took over from horses, making boot scrapers far less necessary. While they have mostly disappeared from everyday use, you can still spot them in historic neighborhoods, a small but fascinating reminder of how daily life once required thoughtful, practical solutions to challenges we no longer face. Root cellars. Before the invention of modern refrigeration, keeping food fresh was a challenge, especially during harsh winters or hot summers. That's where root cellars came in. These cool, dark storage spaces allowed people to preserve vegetables, fruits, and other perishables for extended periods. Root cellars were typically built underground or partially buried, using the natural insulation of the earth to maintain a steady, cool temperature year-round. Some homes had cellars separate from the main house, often resembling small dugouts with wooden or stone doors, while others simply used their basements for storage. Proper ventilation and humidity control helped prevent spoilage, making them an essential feature in homes before electricity became widespread. While refrigerators have made root cellars largely obsolete, some people still use them today, especially in rural areas or for homesteading. They're excellent for storing homegrown produce, aging cheese, or even keeping wine at the perfect temperature. Though no longer a necessity, these once crucial storage spaces remain a fascinating glimpse into how people managed food preservation long before the convenience of a fridge. Razor blade disposal slots. If you've ever lived in or explored an older home with a built-in medicine cabinet, you might have noticed a small, mysterious slot inside. This wasn't just a random design choice. It was a built-in razor blade disposal system. Before the days of modern cartridge razors, men used double-edged safety razors that required frequent blade replacements. But there was a problem. How do you safely dispose of the old blades without risking injury? The solution was simple. Just drop them into the disposal slot inside the medicine cabinet. The blades would fall into the empty space between the walls, out of sight and out of mind. At the time, this was a practical way to get rid of used razors without leaving them in the trash, where they could pose a danger. However, since there was no way to retrieve them, many old homes now have a hidden stockpile of razor blades trapped inside the walls or under the house. While this method is no longer used today, it's a fascinating relic of the past, one that homeowners sometimes discover during renovations, uncovering decades' worth of forgotten blades. Dumbwaiters. If you've ever come across a small hidden lift in an old multi-story home, you may have found a dumbwaiter. These miniature elevators weren't meant for people, but were designed to transport food, dishes, and other household items between floors. They were especially useful in larger homes where kitchens were located on a different level from the dining room, allowing meals to be moved efficiently without the hassle of carrying heavy trays up and down stairs. Dumbwaiters were typically operated with a pulley system, using ropes and counterweights to make lifting easier. Wealthy households, and even some commercial buildings like hotels and restaurants, relied on them to keep service running smoothly. While they may seem like a luxury of the past, some homes and businesses still use modern versions today. However, in older houses, dumbwaiters often sit unused, repurposed as storage spaces, or sealed off entirely. And yes, many kids in these homes have undoubtedly been tempted to climb inside for a little makeshift elevator adventure, though that was never their intended purpose. Servant stairs. If you've ever toured a historic home or lived in an older house, you may have noticed a narrow, tucked-away staircase leading from the kitchen or pantry. These were known as servant stairs, a feature designed to keep household staff out of sight while they moved between floors. In grand homes of the 18th and 19th centuries, a strict social hierarchy was maintained, even within the house. While the family and guests used the main, grand staircase, servants had their own discreet passageways, allowing them to carry out their duties without disrupting the household's daily life. These staircases were often steeper and narrower than the main stairs, built purely for function rather than comfort or aesthetics. Today, servant stairs are a rare find outside of historical homes and mansions. However, the concept still exists in some places, particularly on cruise ships, where hidden crew stairwells allow staff to move efficiently without interfering with passengers. While no longer a common feature in modern homes, These hidden staircases serve as a fascinating glimpse into the past, revealing how homes were once structured around the daily routines of both residents and workers. What's the most unusual or interesting home feature you've seen in a historic house? Servant floor buttons. If you ever visit a historic home, you might come across an unusual feature hidden beneath a rug or dining table, a small, inconspicuous button embedded in the floor. These were known as servant floor buttons, a discreet way for homeowners to summon their butler or household staff without having to leave their seat. Common in grand homes of the 19th and early 20th centuries, these buttons were strategically placed in dining rooms so that hosts could signal for service with a simple press of the foot. Connected to a system of bells or buzzers, the button would alert staff in the kitchen or servants' quarters that they were needed, allowing meals to be served or cleared without verbal instructions. While most of these buttons are now non-functional, many still exist, hidden under carpets or heavy furniture, remnants of a time when formal dining required a well-orchestrated team behind the scenes. Today, modern homes have replaced these with wireless call systems and intercoms, but the idea of summoning assistance with the press of a button remains as convenient as ever. Milk doors. If you've ever seen a small, mysterious door built into the side of an older home, you may have wondered what it was for. This was a milk door, a common feature back in the days when fresh milk was delivered straight to your home. Before modern refrigeration, milk had to be delivered daily to ensure it stayed fresh. The milkman would drop off full bottles through this little compartment and retrieve the empty ones left inside. Typically located near the kitchen or pantry, the milk door was designed to keep the process efficient and hygienic. Homeowners didn't need to answer the door or worry about leaving milk outside in the elements. Some of these doors even had small insulation features to help keep the milk cool for a short time. As home refrigeration improved and grocery stores became more accessible, the milk delivery service faded away, making these doors obsolete. Today, many of them remain sealed up or repurposed, but they serve as a charming reminder of a time when fresh milk arrived right at your doorstep. Transom windows. If you've ever walked into an older home and noticed a small panel of glass above a doorway, you've seen what's called a transom window. These architectural features were once a key part of home design, serving both practical and aesthetic purposes. Before electricity became widespread, homes relied heavily on natural light. Interior rooms, especially hallways, could be dark and uninviting. Transom windows helped solve this problem by allowing daylight to pass through, brightening up spaces that would otherwise be dim. In addition to lighting, many transom windows could open, creating better air circulation. This was especially important in the days before air conditioning, as it helped regulate indoor temperatures by allowing warm air to escape and cool air to flow through. While modern lighting and HVAC systems have largely replaced the need for transom windows, they are still valued for their timeless charm. Many homeowners today are bringing them back into new construction, not just for their classic look, but also for their ability to enhance natural light and ventilation. Picture rails. If you've ever noticed a thin strip of molding running along the upper part of a wall in an older home, you've seen a picture rail. These decorative yet functional features became popular in the mid-1800s, offering homeowners a way to hang artwork without damaging delicate plaster walls. Before drywall became the standard, plaster walls were common, but they were also fragile. Driving a nail directly into the wall could cause cracks or even large chunks of plaster to break off. Picture rails provided a simple yet effective solution. Homeowners could place movable hooks anywhere along the rail, then suspend framed pictures or mirrors using wires or cords. This allowed for easy rearrangement without the need for repairs. By the 1940s, advances in construction materials, including more durable walls, made picture rails less necessary. People became more comfortable hammering nails directly into the wall, and the trend gradually faded. Today, Picture rails are often seen in historic homes, and some modern homeowners are bringing them back for their vintage charm and flexibility in displaying art without making permanent marks. Home intercom systems. If you've ever been inside a home built in the 1970s or earlier, you might have noticed an intercom system mounted on the wall. These wired communication devices allowed homeowners to speak between rooms or different levels of the house without yelling. Some systems even included a front door intercom, letting residents talk to visitors before opening the door. At the time, intercoms were considered a modern convenience, especially in larger homes. Families could easily check in with each other from different areas of the house, and homeowners could screen guests without needing to peek through a window. However, with the rise of cell phones and smart home technology, traditional intercom systems have become largely obsolete. Smart doorbells with built-in cameras now allow homeowners to see and talk to visitors remotely, while messaging apps and home assistants make room-to-room communication effortless. While some older homes still have these systems, they're more often decorative relics than functional tools. Pocket doors. Pocket doors were a brilliant solution for creating a flexible living space. They allowed homeowners to enjoy an open floor plan while still having the option to close off areas when needed. Unlike traditional swinging doors, which take up valuable space, pocket doors slide seamlessly into the wall, making them perfect for smaller rooms or tight spaces. These doors were especially common in older homes, but have become less popular in modern construction. However, they offer a practical and stylish way to separate rooms without sacrificing space. With the rising demand for efficient home designs, pocket doors deserve a comeback in new homes. The charm and purpose of room layouts in older homes. If you've ever explored an older home, you might have noticed that many of the rooms are small and oddly shaped, often with plenty of doors separating them. While modern homes tend to embrace open floor plans, older homes were designed with a very different purpose in mind: privacy and energy efficiency. In the past, it was essential to create spaces that could be easily closed off to maintain privacy, especially when guests visited. Each room had its own distinct purpose, and closed doors helped ensure that one area of the house wasn't overheard or intruded upon by others. More importantly, the compartmentalized design helped with heating and cooling. Without the luxury of modern climate control systems, homes relied on fireplaces, stoves, and simple ventilation methods to regulate temperature. By keeping doors shut between rooms, the homeowners could concentrate warmth in the areas they used most, avoiding wasting energy in unused spaces. This design also kept cooler air in certain areas during the warmer months. Today, while open-concept homes are popular for their spaciousness, the thoughtful layouts of older homes remind us of how functional design can make everyday life more comfortable and efficient. Ever wondered what it would be like to live in an 8-sided house or one made entirely of steel? Let's dive into 20 unique old house styles that are rarely seen today. What made them so special, and why did they fade away? Let's find out. Octagon houses, popular 1850s to 1870s. Octagon houses were all the rage for a brief time, from the 1850s to the 1870s, thanks to a man named Orson Squire Fowler. Fowler was an advocate for these homes, believing that their unique design offered more space, better airflow, and an abundance of natural light. The idea was simple yet revolutionary. An octagon-shaped house would use the same perimeter as a traditional square or rectangular house, but provide 20% more interior space. This made the layout more efficient, especially for homeowners seeking to maximize their square footage without expanding the size of the foundation. These houses often had flat roofs, central cupolas for added light and ventilation, and wraparound verandas that connected the different sections of the house. The innovative design also featured open floor plans that encouraged airflow, which was thought to help keep the house cooler in the summer and more comfortable overall. Despite these advantages, the Octagon House never truly became mainstream. There are a few notable examples, like the Longwood Mansion in Natchez, Mississippi, and the Octagon House in Watertown, Wisconsin. Even Fowler's own home, affectionately named Fowler's Folly, was eventually torn down. Though they didn't catch on widely, these houses remain a fascinating piece of architectural history, showcasing the experimental spirit of their time. Lustron Homes, 1948 to 1950. Lustron homes were an innovative response to the post-World War II housing crisis, offering a unique solution through prefabricated, all-steel construction. Designed by Carl Strandlund and produced between 1948 and 1950. These homes were built to provide affordable, durable housing for returning veterans and their families. Unlike traditional wood-framed houses, Lustron homes featured enameled steel panels for both the exterior and interior, making them highly resistant to fire, termites, and decay. More than 2,000 Lustron homes were constructed across the United States, with a few even exported to Venezuela. Their design emphasized efficiency and ease of maintenance. Metal walls could be wiped clean with a damp cloth, and built-in storage units eliminated the need for bulky furniture. Many models included an innovative combination washer-dryer, a rare feature for the time. The homes were shipped in kits and assembled on site, much like a life-sized puzzle. Despite their durability, Lustron homes faced financial and logistical challenges. Production ceased in 1950, largely due to government restrictions and high manufacturing costs. Today, surviving Lustron houses are prized as mid-century architectural relics, with preservationists working to maintain these rare, futuristic homes that once promised a revolution in American housing. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Atomic Ranch, 1950s to 1960s. The Atomic Ranch, a stylish evolution of the classic ranch house, defined mid-century modern architecture in the 1950s and 1960s. This design emphasized simplicity, functionality, and a seamless connection between indoor and outdoor spaces. With sleek lines, open floor plans, and large windows, these homes embraced the optimism of the post-war era and the space-age aesthetic. Architect Cliff May played a crucial role in popularizing the ranch style as early as the 1930s, drawing inspiration from Spanish colonial haciendas. His designs featured sprawling, single-story layouts that encouraged casual, open living, an idea that flourished in the Atomic Ranch era. Homes often included flat or butterfly roofs, asymmetrical facades, and walls of glass that blurred the boundary between interior and exterior. Vibrant colors, geometric patterns, and futuristic materials like formica and aluminum added to their distinctive look. In California, developer Joseph Eichler helped bring Atomic Ranch homes to the masses. His designs, heavily influenced by the Bauhaus and Frank Lloyd Wright's Usonian homes, featured post and beam construction, atriums, and carports instead of traditional garages. While their popularity declined in later decades, Atomic Ranch homes remain highly sought after today, celebrated for their retro charm and timeless modernity. Tudor house style. Tudor-style homes bring the charm and character of medieval England to American neighborhoods, blending old-world craftsmanship with modern adaptations. Though inspired by the architecture of England's Tudor dynasty, 1485 to 1603. The Tudor revival style seen today emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, borrowing elements from medieval cottages and grand manor houses alike. A hallmark of Tudor homes is their steeply pitched roofs, often punctuated by prominent cross gables. Decorative half-timbering, dark wooden beams set against light-colored stucco or stone, creates a distinctive, storybook-like appearance. Brickwork is commonly used, especially on lower levels or chimneys, adding warmth and texture to the facade. These homes also feature tall, narrow windows with multiple small panes, often arranged in groups, and framed with dark wood or leaded glass for an old-world aesthetic. Inside, Tudor homes exude coziness with exposed wooden beams, stone fireplaces, and arched doorways. The interiors often embrace rich, earthy tones and textured materials, enhancing their medieval-inspired charm. While traditional Tudor homes were grand estates, the American Tudor Revival adapted the style for suburban living. Cottage house style. Cottage-style homes capture the charm and coziness of old-world European dwellings, drawing inspiration from the thatched-roof cottages of medieval England. These homes became especially popular in the United States during the 1920s and 1930s, offering a quaint, welcoming alternative to larger, more formal architectural styles. Defined by their storybook appeal, cottage-style houses often feature steeply pitched roofs, sometimes with cross gables that add dimension to the structure. Arched entryways, rounded doors, and casement windows with multiple small panes further enhance their fairy tale aesthetic. Exteriors are typically clad in brick, stone, or stucco, creating a rustic, handcrafted look that blends seamlessly into natural surroundings. Inside, cottage homes prioritize warmth and comfort, often incorporating exposed wooden beams, built-in shelving, and cozy fireplaces as focal points. The layouts tend to be compact yet efficient, making the most of available space while fostering a sense of intimacy. Lush gardens, winding pathways, and charming window boxes overflowing with flowers frequently complement the exterior, completing the enchanting, storybook feel. Though traditional cottages were modest in size, modern interpretations often expand the design while maintaining the same inviting, nostalgic charm that has made them beloved for generations. Mediterranean house style. Mediterranean-style homes exude warmth, elegance, and a seamless connection to the outdoors, drawing inspiration from the villas of Spain, Italy, and Greece. This architectural style became especially popular in the U.S. during the early 20th century, particularly in coastal regions like California and Florida, where the climate complements its design. One of the most distinctive features of Mediterranean homes is the low-pitched red tile roof, which not only enhances the aesthetic appeal, but also provides excellent heat resistance. The exteriors are typically clad in stucco or adobe, often in earthy tones like white, beige, or terracotta, reinforcing the sun-drenched old-world charm. Arches play a significant role in Mediterranean architecture, appearing in doorways, windows, and covered walkways, adding to the home's graceful and inviting character. Wrought iron accents, such as balconies, railings, and decorative grillwork, further enhance the European aesthetic. A hallmark of this style is its U-shaped floor plan, which centers around a lush courtyard featuring a fountain, gardens, or even an outdoor fireplace. This design encourages indoor-outdoor living with large windows, French doors, and loggias opening to the courtyard, allowing natural light and cool breezes to flow through the home. Inside, Mediterranean-style homes often feature exposed wooden beams, tile or stone flooring, and ornate details like hand-painted tiles and carved wood accents. The overall atmosphere is one of relaxed luxury, blending rustic charm with timeless elegance. American Foursquare, 1895 to 1939. The American Foursquare emerged in the late 19th century as a direct response to the ornate, highly decorative Victorian homes that had dominated American neighborhoods. Homebuyers were beginning to favor simplicity, practicality, and efficiency over intricate detailing, and the Foursquare delivered exactly that. Built between 1895 and 1939, these homes were known for their boxy, 2.5-story design, which maximized interior space while maintaining a clean and straightforward aesthetic. Sometimes called the prairie box, The American Foursquare shared design elements with the Prairie School movement, championed by architects like Frank Lloyd Wright. These homes typically featured a symmetrical layout, a large covered porch supported by columns, a hipped roof with a central dormer, and built-in cabinetry for added functionality. The emphasis was on open, airy spaces that provided comfort without unnecessary ornamentation. One of the most interesting aspects of the American Foursquare is how widely accessible it became. Companies like Sears, Roebuck and Company, and Aladdin sold these homes as mail-order kits, allowing families across the country to purchase and build them affordably. Their timeless, practical design ensured their popularity for decades, and many still stand today as a testament to early 20th century American architecture. Brutalist homes, 1950s to 1970s. Brutalist homes, emerging between the 1950s and 1970s, were a bold departure from traditional residential architecture, embracing raw concrete, geometric forms, and a minimalist aesthetic. Inspired by the modernist movement and the work of architects like Le Corbusier, this style emphasized functionality over ornamentation. The term brutalism itself comes from the French phrase béton brut, meaning raw concrete, which was the defining material of these buildings. Brutalist homes often featured massive, monolithic structures with rough, unfinished surfaces. They prioritized practicality, with open floor plans, exposed structural elements, and a focus on durability. While the style was more commonly seen in social housing projects and institutional buildings, such as universities and government complexes, some architects experimented with brutalist principles in private homes, designing striking residences that stood in stark contrast to traditional suburban houses. By the late 1970s, brutalism fell out of favor as critics associated its heavy, fortress-like appearance with urban decay and institutional coldness. Many brutalist structures were demolished or altered to soften their stark look. However, in recent years, there has been a resurgence of interest in the style, with architects and preservationists recognizing its raw beauty, structural honesty, and sculptural impact. If you could design your own dream home based on these historic styles, what features would you include? Neoclassical house style. Neoclassical homes stand as timeless symbols of grandeur and elegance, drawing direct inspiration from the classical architecture of ancient Greece and Rome. Emerging in the late 18th century and remaining popular well into the 20th century, this style is characterized by its imposing scale, symmetrical design, and meticulous attention to detail. These homes exude a sense of formality and refinement, often serving as visual statements of wealth and prestige. One of the most defining features of neoclassical houses is their use of tall, dramatic columns, typically in the Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian order. These columns often frame the entrance, lending a stately, temple-like presence to the facade. Some variations extend these columns across the entire front, creating a grand colonnade reminiscent of ancient palaces. The symmetry of these homes is further emphasized through evenly spaced windows, centered doorways, and balanced proportions that create a harmonious aesthetic. Ornamental details, such as pediments, intricate moldings, and decorative cornices add to the architectural sophistication. Doorways and windows are frequently adorned with classical motifs, including pilasters and fan lights. While the style has evolved over time, neoclassical homes remain a favored choice for civic buildings, historic mansions, and even modern luxury residences, preserving their timeless appeal. Cape Cod house style. The Cape Cod house style is one of the most enduring and recognizable in American architecture, known for its charming simplicity and practical design. Originating in the late 17th century, this style was heavily influenced by English cottages, but adapted to withstand the harsh New England climate. Its defining features, steeply pitched roofs, wood siding, and symmetrical facades, made it both functional and visually appealing. Early Cape Cod homes were modest, single-story structures with a central chimney, designed to retain heat during brutal winters. The steep rooflines helped shed snow, while the sturdy wooden construction provided durability against coastal storms. Multi-pane windows allowed natural light inside, and dormer windows, often added later, helped bring more ventilation and usable space to the upper half-story. Though Cape Cod homes remained a regional style for centuries, they experienced a massive resurgence in popularity during the 1930s, particularly as affordable housing options in suburban developments. Modern variations often include larger footprints, updated materials, and additional wings or attached garages, but they still retain the cozy, timeless appeal of their historic predecessors. American Craftsman, 1905 to 1930. The American Craftsman style emerged in the early 20th century as a celebration of skilled craftsmanship, natural materials, and simplicity, a departure from the overly ornate Victorian homes of the previous era. Craftsman houses emphasized quality over decoration, favoring solid wood, stone, and handcrafted details. This style flourished between 1905 and 1930, especially in California, where its open, airy designs suited the mild climate. Inspired by the Prairie School and shingle styles, Craftsman homes were instantly recognizable by their low-pitched gabled roofs, wide eaves with exposed rafters, and decorative beams or brackets. Many featured built-in furniture, such as bookshelves and window seats, reinforcing the idea that a home should be both beautiful and functional. Gustav Stickley, a designer and furniture maker, was one of the most influential figures in popularizing the Craftsman aesthetic through his magazine, The Craftsman. Unlike the British arts and crafts movement, which often catered to the wealthy, American Craftsman homes were designed to be accessible and affordable. However, by the 1930s, the style began to fade, replaced by simpler, more modern designs. Today, one of the finest surviving examples is the Gamble House in Pasadena, California, which perfectly embodies the warmth, craftsmanship, and natural beauty that define the movement. Shotgun House, 1870 to 1920s. The shotgun house is one of the most distinctive and enduring architectural styles of the American South, popular from the 1870s through the 1920s. These homes are long, narrow, and rectangular, with rooms arranged in a straight line from front to back, usually without hallways. The design was highly practical, allowing for efficient airflow, which was essential in the hot, humid climate of the South. Though most commonly associated with New Orleans, shotgun houses are believed to have roots in Haitian and West African architecture, brought to the United States through cultural exchanges in the Caribbean. Their simple, no-frills design made them affordable to build, making them a popular choice for working-class families. They also allowed for high-density housing, as multiple shotgun homes could be built close together on small lots. Over time, many shotgun houses fell into disrepair, especially in urban areas. However, in recent decades, they have been rediscovered and restored, often as part of gentrification efforts in cities like New Orleans. One of the most famous examples of a shotgun house is the birthplace of Elvis Presley in Tupelo, Mississippi, a humble yet historically significant reminder of this uniquely Southern architectural style. Which of these old house styles would you love to live in today, and why? Italianate house style. The Italianate house style, popular in the U.S. from the 1840s to the 1880s, reflects the grandeur of 19th-century Italian villas, with a distinct emphasis on vertical proportions and ornate detailing. Inspired by the picturesque movement, these homes were a departure from the rigid symmetry of earlier architectural styles, favoring a more romantic and decorative aesthetic. A defining feature of Italianate homes is their overhanging eaves supported by decorative brackets, often arranged in pairs or elaborate patterns. The roofs are typically low-pitched or gently sloping, sometimes with a central cupola or square tower, adding to the home's dramatic silhouette. Windows are another hallmark of the style. Tall, narrow, and often arched, they emphasize the home's height and elegance. Elaborate window crowns or pediments further enhance their ornamental appeal. Entrances are grand and inviting, often framed by double doors with arched or heavily carved surrounds. Wraparound porches with delicate columns and balustrades add to the charm, creating welcoming outdoor spaces. Most Italianate homes are 2 or 3 stories high, featuring rectangular or L-shaped floor plans. Their facades are richly detailed, with intricate moldings, quoins, and decorative brackets, giving the homes a refined and stately presence. Although Italianate architecture declined in popularity by the late 19th century, many well-preserved examples remain, particularly in historic districts across the U.S. The style's blend of old-world elegance and American craftsmanship makes it a standout in architectural history. Queen Anne style, 1880 to 1910. The Queen Anne style dominated American residential architecture from 1880 to 1910, replacing the more formal and rigid Second Empire style. This was a time of architectural creativity, and Queen Anne homes embraced a whimsical, almost storybook-like appearance. They stood out with their asymmetrical facades, expansive wraparound porches, and intricate decorative woodwork. Patterned shingles, bay windows, and stained glass were common features, adding layers of texture and color to the design. Many of these homes also boasted dramatic towers or turrets, giving them a castle-like charm. One of the defining characteristics of Queen Anne homes was their variety. No 2 houses looked exactly the same. Architects played with multiple roof lines, incorporating steep gables, dormers, and ornamental trim. These houses were built to impress, reflecting the prosperity and optimism of the late 19th century. However, after 1900, tastes began shifting towards simpler, more restrained architectural styles like the Colonial Revival and Craftsman homes. The elaborate and ornate Queen Anne look gradually faded from popularity. Despite this, some stunning examples remain, with the Carson Mansion in Eureka, California, being one of the most famous. With its towering spires and lavish details, it perfectly captures the grandeur and eccentricity of the Queen Anne era. Country French house style. Country French homes bring a touch of European elegance to American architecture, blending rustic charm with refined details. This style traces its roots back to the 18th century, when French settlers introduced it to regions like Louisiana and the Mississippi Valley. Inspired by rural homes in the French countryside, these houses are known for their graceful proportions, steeply pitched roofs, and a warm, inviting aesthetic. Typically, country French homes are 1-story, though some feature a second level tucked under the roofline. Their exteriors often showcase stucco walls, sometimes combined with stone or brick, and a distinctive half-timbered frame that hints at medieval European craftsmanship. Narrow, tall windows with decorative shutters enhance the home's old-world charm, while arched entryways and wrought iron accents add to the refined look. The roof design, either hipped or side-gabled, is one of the most recognizable features, giving the home a stately yet cozy presence. Many country French homes are set back on spacious lots with winding driveways and beautifully landscaped gardens, further enhancing their curb appeal. While the style retains its historic influences, modern versions may include contemporary amenities while preserving the classic European-inspired elegance that makes country French homes so timeless. Colonial house style. Colonial-style homes are among the most iconic and enduring architectural styles in the United States, dating back to the early 1600s. Rooted in European influences, particularly from England, these homes were built to reflect symmetry, balance, and practicality. Over time, colonial architecture evolved into several sub-styles, including Georgian, Federal, and Dutch colonial, each with its own unique characteristics while maintaining the core elements of the style. Typically 2 or 3 stories tall, colonial homes feature a rectangular floor plan with a centered front entrance flanked by evenly spaced windows. The facades are traditionally constructed from brick or wood, giving the homes a stately yet inviting appearance. A hallmark of the colonial style is its functional layout. Common areas such as the kitchen, dining room, and family room are located on the first floor, while bedrooms occupy the second floor, maintaining a clear separation between public and private spaces. Dormer windows, decorative shutters, and columned entryways are common exterior features, adding charm and visual interest. Many colonial homes also include fireplaces, a nod to their historical roots when they were essential for heating. Despite their traditional origins, colonial-style homes have remained popular due to their timeless appeal, adaptable design, and enduring sense of elegance. Victorian house style. Victorian-style homes are some of the most ornate and visually striking residences ever built, reflecting the grandeur and creativity of the 19th century. Emerging during Queen Victoria's reign, 1837 to 1901, this architectural style flourished during the Industrial Revolution, a time when mass production allowed for intricate decorative details that were once too costly or difficult to create by hand. These homes are easily recognizable by their steeply pitched roofs, prominent front-facing gables, and elaborate woodwork. Asymmetry is a defining feature, with bay windows, turrets, and towers adding to their whimsical charm. Patterned shingles and intricate trim, sometimes called gingerbread, contribute to the highly decorative appearance. Many Victorian homes also feature expansive wraparound porches with turned posts and spindles, inviting both function and ornamentation. Inside, Victorian homes were known for their lavish details, high ceilings, intricate moldings, richly patterned wallpapers, and stained glass windows. While traditional Victorian interiors embraced deep, bold colors and elaborate furnishings, modern interpretations often blend classic architectural features with contemporary color palettes and materials. This allows homeowners to maintain the home's historical character while incorporating modern conveniences. Whether restored to their original grandeur or updated with a fresh twist, Victorian homes remain a symbol of craftsmanship, elegance, and artistic expression. Have you ever lived in or visited a home with one of these classic designs? Share your experience. Tudor Revival, 1890s to 1940s. The Tudor Revival style, popular from the 1890s through the 1940s, brought a touch of medieval England to American neighborhoods. Inspired by the rustic charm of 16th-century English cottages and manor houses, these homes were easily recognizable by their steeply pitched gabled roofs, decorative half-timbering, and tall, prominent chimneys, often with ornate brickwork or chimney pots. Wealthy Americans in the early 20th century were especially drawn to Tudor Revival homes, as the style evoked a sense of old-world charm and craftsmanship. These houses often featured arched doorways, leaded glass windows, and textured stucco or brick exteriors, creating a storybook-like appearance. Interiors typically included exposed wooden beams, grand fireplaces, and cozy, irregularly shaped rooms that enhanced their medieval character. However, after World War II, the style fell out of favor as Americans turned to simpler, more modern housing designs. By the 1970s and 1980s, builders seeking to replicate the Tudor look began using synthetic materials like faux wood and manufactured stone, often resulting in a less authentic appearance. Dutch Colonial Revival, 1910s to 1930s. The Dutch Colonial Revival style, popular from the 1910s to the 1930s, was a nostalgic reinterpretation of the 17th and 18th century homes built by early Dutch settlers in what is now New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. The most defining feature of this style is its gambrel roof, which resembles a barn roof with two slopes on each side, allowing for more usable space on the upper floor. Wide eaves, large dormer windows, and a symmetrical facade with decorative shutters further contributed to its charming, traditional look. Unlike the original Dutch colonial homes, which were often constructed with brick or stone, the revival versions were commonly built with wood siding, reflecting early 20th century building trends. Interiors were designed for comfort, often featuring central hallways, large fireplaces, and cozy living spaces that emphasized warmth and practicality. While many Dutch colonial revival homes were modest suburban residences, some grander examples stand out. The Biltmore Estate, built for George Washington Vanderbilt II, incorporates Dutch colonial elements within its eclectic design. Another well-known example is 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York, infamous as the setting of the Amityville Horror. Despite its decline in new construction after the 1930s, Dutch colonial revival homes remain beloved for their timeless appeal and historical charm. Greek Revival House Style. The Greek Revival House style, popular from the 1820s to the 1860s, is one of the most iconic architectural movements in American history. Inspired by classical Greek temples, these homes symbolize grandeur, democracy, and timeless elegance. Distinguished by their bold white facades, Greek Revival homes often feature grand entryways framed by towering columns, typically of the Doric, Ionic, or Corinthian order. These columns support a prominent pediment, further emphasizing the home's resemblance to ancient Greek structures. Low-pitched or gabled roofs add to the style's commanding presence, while symmetrical layouts ensure a balanced and stately appearance. Large, rectangular windows, often with decorative lintels, allow for ample natural light. Entrances frequently include transoms and side lights, enhancing the sense of openness. In the South, Greek Revival homes are especially notable for their expansive porches, offering shade and a connection to the outdoors. These porches, often adorned with rocking chairs, create inviting spaces for relaxation and social gatherings. Greek Revival architecture dominated the U.S. during the early to mid-19th century, influencing not only residential buildings, but also courthouses, banks, and government structures. Today, these homes remain a symbol of classical beauty and historic charm. While many of these old house features have faded into history, some still hold value today. Whether practical or simply nostalgic, they remind us of how homes once functioned. Which of these would you bring back? Let us know. And thanks for watching.